What's up, everybody? This is your boy Jay Corbett of Team Sanctum, back at it again with another deck profile, and today we take a look at one of the most expensive decks out that is in the current meta right now. It is Dark Magicians. Now, these are my prize, my possessions, my babies, they're my everything. This deck I've been working on since the beginning of around 2015 when I did start hearing about all the new cards that will be coming out and supplementing the Dark Magician archetype. And so I finally have been able to put together what I considered one of the coolest builds for the Dark Magician decks. There's probably better ones out there, especially ones that have been topping, like Jeff Jones and like other people's. But mine's is it's pretty good. If you guys want us have if you guys have any like advice or any ideas on how to make the deck better, leave a comment in the comment section below. Be sure to like this video. Let me know what you guys think of the deck. So yeah, here we go. Here's this deck profile for you guys. Alright, so I run 3 Magician's Rod. Magician's Rod is basically the starting of the setup for the Dark Magician field. You can search for any Dark Magician card once this card has been normal summoned. Well, basically any card that says Dark Magician in the text, so like Dark Magic Attack, Dark Magical Circle, all that. Just remember, this card cannot search for Eye of Timaeus. And one of the coolest things with this card is, if this card is in the graveyard, say for instance you do Magician's Navigation or something, you special summon a Dark Magician and Magician of Dark Illusion, you can activate his graveyard effect, you can tribute off one of the monsters that was summoned off of Magician's Navigation, and you can get Magician's Rod back in your hand, just in case if you feel as if you're not going to get that top deck of him, or get a perfect top deck after you use them. Next, I played 2 Summoner Monks, and you'll see why. Because of its effect, you can discard and it can special summon a level 4, and usually you would go for Elemental Hero Prisma, so you can set up the fusion combo, because I played 3 Eye of Timaeus in here, which we get to. Elemental Hero Prisma's effect is you reveal a fusion monster that is in your extra deck that has the name of a fusion monster in it. You reveal it, and then you send that fusion material to the graveyard. And then Prisma becomes that monster. Prisma's name becomes that monster's name. So Elemental Hero Prisma will automatically always in this deck transform into a Dark Magician. And for the coolest, for the kind of trolley plays, you will transform him into Dark Magician by sending Dark Magician, and then if you have Dark Magic Attack in your hand and you know your opponent has back row and they didn't stop this summon or any of these effects, Dark Magic Attack, clear the back row, and you continue on with your play to summon like Dark Paladin, Amulet Dragon, or overlay into Daigusto and all that cool stuff. I run 3 Magician of Dark Illusion. This card can special summon itself when you activate a spell or trap card during your opponent's turn, and if this card is on the field and you activate a spell or trap card, you can special summon a Dark Magician from your graveyard. Card is pretty staple in this deck. It works really well. I've always, I don't know why, I've always either seen it at 1 in my hand or 2 at the beginning of a duel. I've never seen it at 3, so running this at 3 is perfect. I run 1 Paladin, well, Mahad. I run only one of him because you want to top deck him, you want to draw into him. You never want him in your hand. You never want to like have him at the beginning of the match, because this is the card that will always be able to get you out of situations if you go against dark type decks like Burning Abyss or DDs or whatever, because the effect of this card is it special summons itself, but also if this card is destroyed, you can special summon a Dark Magician from your graveyard. So it has really great benefits, but only if you top deck it. You never want to see this in your hand beginning of the first turn. And then finally, the MVP of this deck, 3 Dark Magicians, because you cannot play this deck without it being at 3. Staple, staple, staple. Alright, so that's all the monsters for the Dark Magicians. Let's get towards the spells. So, I run 3 Dark Magical Circle. You need to run this at 3. It's the card that basically makes this deck what it is, a banishing monster. This deck is basically Banish City. Anytime you special summon a Dark Magician from anywhere, it doesn't matter where, you can target banish a monster on the field after activating it. Also, it's basically another Pot of Duality. You activate this, you see the top 3 cards. If you see a Dark Magician card or a spell or trap card that has Dark Magician in the text, you add it into your hand. It's really amazing. You always want to see this card, a Eternal Soul or a Magician's Navigation, and possibly an Illusion Magic in your hand. You set all that, normal summon a Magician Rod, pass your turn, and then you just wait and just see what your opponent does. I run 1 Illusion Magic. Most people will probably run either 2. It's rare to see people run this at 3. I think 1 is perfect because of the fact that you search for like 2 Dark Magicians out of your deck. After you use that, you just get the 2 Dark Magicians out of your deck, and for the rest of the time, you're just getting Eternal Soul and stuff like that out of the deck to be able to special summon Dark Magicians. If you run this at 2, then you're focusing on trying to get Dark Magicians in your hand so that you can use Magician Navigation more. So this is me basically wanting to use Eternal Soul more by playing this at 1. Run Book of Moon because of the current meta being ABCs and whatnot. They summon an ABC monster. I go Book of Moon. They can't really do much. 1 MST just for clearing back row. Just in case if I can't get to a Dark Magic attack, I get this. I can at least get rid of one thing, and hopefully I get rid of like a Solemn Strike, Solemn Warning, something that prevents me from doing all my plays. I run 2 Pot of Dualities. Pretty much set with Magician's Rod. This is like the perfect card combo with it. You normal summon Magician Rod, you get Dark Magical Circle activated, you do Magical Circle's effect to seeing the next cards, then you Pot of Duality, look at those next cards, and then you get the other card that you were basically looking at. It works perfectly well. If you can do that combination with Magician's Rod and everything, then Pot of Duality is like the perfect card. Just remember, you cannot special summon once you activate this card. So that's why it really works well with the Dark Magician deck, especially first turn when you have Magician's Rod. I run Dark Magic Veil. I run 2 of them because special summoning is a big thing in this deck, and almost all my monsters are Dark Spellcasters. Go figure. 1 Dark Magic attack. Now, you're probably wondering why I run 1. What I've been testing out and is the theory is that can Dark Magic Attack actually set me up for the OTK? And what I have proven is, yes, this Dark Magic Attack does set me up for the OTK because 8 times out of 10 on YGO Pro or Dev Pro or even in actual duels with people in real life, I activate Dark Magic Attack while I have a Dark Magician on the field. Boom, clear everything off the field. Say I have Eternal Soul, I activate that, special summon, overlay into Dark... Ebon, Illusion Magician, special summon, do all that, swing for like 5,000. If I have like Magician's Rod, swing for a little bit more, and then I pass turn. If I have Dark Magical Circle, then I just wait for my opponent to activate the first card, activate it on my opponent's card, and all that stuff. But either way, Dark Magic Attack sets you up for the OTK, blows up everything. It's basically a Harpy's Feather Duster. Sorry for kind of ranting on a little bit. I run 3 Eye of Timaeus. Because I run Dark Paladin and Amulet Dragon. Dark Paladin, you'll see why I run this at 3, but you want to run this at 3 because you run Prisma at 3. That is honestly why. This basically is a polymerization for Dark Paladin and Amulet Dragon. And then the final draw power, Allure of Darkness. Banishing a dark monster in this deck is not really a big issue. So that's how I see it. So that's it for the spell cards. We're going to move on to the trap cards. I run 2 Grand Horn of Heavens. If I had Solemn Strikes, these would be Solemn Strikes, just to be honest. I run 3 Eternal Soul. Eternal Soul is the bread and butter of this deck because it special summons a Dark Magician from hand or grave, and it can add a Dark Magic attack or Thousand Knives into your hand. Now, this is a double-edged sword. If this card is destroyed or banished, then it destroys all monsters on the field. I found this out just recently. If this card is shuffled into the deck, the effect does not go off because cards that go into the deck cannot activate. So, just remember, if you're going against a Dark Magician player and you try to Castel this, you are setting yourself up for failure, and you just basically gave them back an Eternal Soul. Just letting you know. 1 Vanity's Emptiness. Lock them out of their plays once you set up your board. That's pretty much all it is for. And then finally, I run 3 Magician Navigation. Special summon Dark Magician. Get more likely a Magician of Dark Illusion onto the field. While this card is in your graveyard, you can banish it, and then you can target a face-up card. And remember, once your opponent activates a card on the field, it's technically face-up, so as soon as they activate it, you can banish this card immediately and be like, negate the activation of that spell or trap card. It's really amazing. And also, yes, this works against Mirror Force too, if you're wondering. So that's it for the main deck. So we're going to take a look at the extra deck. So, obviously I run one Abyss Dweller for the graveyard effects that be happening in this game. More than likely this for going to mostly be for ABC so that they don't get their little add cards into your hand effect. Daigusto to recycle. I run 2 Castels to get rid of stuff off of the field that's really annoying. Utopia, Prime, Lightning, basically, Utopia, Prime, Lightning is basically to beat over stuff. So, that's obviously it. I run 1 Ebon High Magician. I don't want to run it at 2. This card is good if I ran almost basically an all quick play type of deck, or I ran a deck that ran like Bottomless and other trap cards where I could just sit there and be like, leave this in my hand, activate, and stuff like that. I run 2 Ebon Illusion Magician. This is basically like a double. I consider him like double banished, because once you have Dark Magical Circle up, you summon him. You use his effect, you summon out another Dark Magician, target banished with Dark Magical Circle, enter battle phase, declare attack with your Dark Magician, target banish another thing. So you basically have an instant 2-card banish combo when you summon him. Big Eye, obviously to take control of monsters. Red Eye's Flare Metal, you basically tell your opponent, oh yeah, go ahead, activate your cards. They burn themselves. If they manage to get rid of this, you more likely probably got them down to a point where you can summon out all your Dark Magicians or a certain number of cards from your main deck and just OTK them. And then for the fusion, so that's it for the XZ monsters. And finally for the fusions, I run 2 Dark Paladins and I run 1 Amulet Dragon. The Dark Paladins obviously is going to be for the negation of spell cards being activated. And since Blue Eyes is still a thing, 9 times out of 10, if I go against a Blue Eyes deck, this will be summoned out no matter what. And then Amulet Dragon is just for those decks where people can recycle their spell and trap cards. So recycle their spell cards. So I just go summon him, I activate his effect, and I banish all my opponent's spells and all my spells to summon him. He goes up to like a large amount of attack. It's really insane. So that's it for the extra deck. And I'll let you guys take a look at my side deck. So for this current meta, here's how my side deck is looking. 1 Chimera Tech with 2 Cyber Dragons. That's going to be for ABCs. I want to hear people's opinions about this. I don't think it's as good against ABCs, but I want to see what everyone else says about this. I run 3 Ally of Justice Quarantine. Literally, if you go against Blue Eyes, you win. You win once this is summoned. You go first turn, you summon this. Your opponent, unless your opponent can Regeki or enemy controller or something, you're actually not even enemy controller, not a player controller. Like, no matter what, once this card is summoned, you win. You win against Blue Eyes. If you can find a way to protect him while you're going against ABCs, this card shuts down ABCs also, because ABC Buster doesn't get his effect. None of the other monsters get their effects, and it's just beautiful. The only problem with this card is that it's only 1700 attack monster, so the only ABC monster that can destroy it when it's normal summoned is Assault Core. So like I said, if you can find a way to protect him, then you're set. I run 2 Debunks. Basically for those Ghost Ogres or Effect Veilers or any hand traps that activate, you just negate it with that. I run 2 Pot of Acquisitiveness. You lock your opponent out. Once they summon out their Buster, you just activate this, and then you get draws off of this card. I have not gotten a chance to actually practice using this card, but all I know is that this card is going to be a necessity in the matches against ABC Busters. Well, I mean ABCs in general. I run 3 System Downs. Obviously, for the ABC matchup, you basically get rid of all their materials. And then finally, I run 2 Chaos Hunters in the side deck because obviously ABC Buster Dragon, if he gets summoned, well, if any card gets special summoning, you know they can summon out Buster. You summon this out, they can't target banish a card with him. And if you can find a way to protect him, then your opponent really can't do much. Okay. Alright guys, so that's it for the Dark Magician deck profile. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel for more deck profiles and skits and anything else that we plan on doing in the nearby future. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to do what I just said, man. We really appreciate all the feedback, everyone being there for us and taking a look at our profiles and like doing our decks and everything in real life. We really do appreciate it. But Team Sanctum, this is Jay Corbett, man. Signing out. Thanks again.